Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here to review Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, what happened was at the end of that Hopness Monster video, I was originally gonna do a video with John, and then we started watching YouTube videos, and we watched another movie. Then we went out to the bar, and I met a bunch of people, including Dan Stevens again, and then I saw James Angelo, who I haven't seen in over 30 years, which was awesome, and Brian Moore, who recognized me, and he bought me a thing of. Well, James Angelo bought me a couple beers too. They had draft on Yingling Draft at the empty keg, and it was like $1.50. So that wasn't bad at all. He got me a couple beers, and then I know my friend Brian Moore recognized me from my channel. He bought me a Game of Thrones Bend the Knee beer. It came in a wine bottle that I plan on reviewing next weekend. I'm gonna have some real time off because it's close to my end of my weekend on a Sunday. And I also met Brian Kilbane also, and it was awesome. And also this one, I didn't get the guy's name. This guy that had an Anthrax shirt on, fellow metalhead, probably the youngest of all of us, 24, I think. And we had a great time. And I got a video about that from the Empty Keg, about the food review and the beer and meeting the people there, and the Game of Thrones beer, which I didn't review, but I showed it off, and also some music and stuff. Well, anyways, on to Spider-Man: Homecoming, and then what I want to do is after that I want to do my personal history with Spider-Man, and I've been Spider-Man is probably the one I'm the most familiar with for the Marvel superheroes, with Spider-Man, Hulk, and Ghost Rider and stuff like that. But Spider-Man was the one I think I remember the most as a kid, all the way back to when I was real little in the house in Albion, PA. That's real little stuff from the date of my birth until the summer after first grade, and then that summer and then before second grade, I moved to the house in Cranesville. So let's go ahead with my review of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Well, we saw it at the 120 show at Tinseltown. And Tinseltown, my hat goes off to Tinseltown for reducing their prices, because Tinseltown pretty much is the only movie theater in town. They have the Sunset Drive-In, and in Meadville they have something like Movies and More or something like that. But I mean, that's pretty much the only place in Erie to see your movies anymore, and that's it. And they reduced their admission to $3.99, which I think is really good. I mean, if you see it in 3D, they charge you another. It's almost $7 or something like that. But we just see it in 2D. And this movie is fantastic. Now it starts off with stuff with the aliens, the materials the aliens left over from Age of Ultron, and they show Michael Keaton. Well, I mean, the beginning of it's different than the Spider-Man ones. They show Michael Keaton, and he's like a regular working man. He ends up being a bad guy of Ultra, but he's a regular working guy, right? And him and his crew were helping remove the stuff for the government and making it safe. And then all of a sudden, they show them working, they're busting their butts. And they're working hard, and then all of a sudden, Tyndale and a bunch of the federal people say, "Well, you guys are done here, and we're going to take over now." And then, Michael Keaton said, "Man, these guys have families they have to support, and I have to support my family." She said, "Well, I'm sorry, it's no longer. We're taking over now, and you guys are no longer needed." And it was found it was Tony Stark that did that, and they forced him out. And then Michael Keaton said, "Well, I guess it's time for us to." When they left, he said, "We're coming over and taking over." And he said, "Well, I guess it's time to take business in their own hands." And later on down the road, he became like a weapons dealer, with the alien weaponry and stuff like that. And, he has his own little crew and stuff like that, and they're always trying to be under the radar. But I don't want to give away a lot of that. Michael Keaton's, a lot of stuff Michael Keaton makes makes a lot of sense. He's not a straight up bad guy though. He's a bad guy in the movie, but I mean, trust me, it's really good. I was captivated right from the start. But Michael Keaton's such a great actor. He was in, trying to think, in the 80s, he was in a sitcom. And then Michael Keaton started being movies like Night Shift, that Ron Howard movie, and then movies like Mr. Mom, and then eventually playing Batman. But that wasn't until later on. Sitcom Michael. Let me see what the sitcom with Michael Keaton is. I can never remember that. It was on CBS. I loved it though. He was really funny at the time. But I mean, he's such a great actor. He's done so many different things. Sitcom Michael Keaton. See if I can find it on YouTube. Working Stiffs? Was that it? Cut for Time. Children's show. Extremely short-lived Jim Belushi and Michael Keaton, Working Stiffs. That might have been what it was. Wow. But he was like, really big in the 82, 83, and then, almost fair. It must have been Working Stiffs, I assume. But he was in so many different things, though. I mean, he's still a great actor. I'm getting off of Michael Keaton, but it starts off with Michael Keaton, and then, they have the credit, and then you see Spider-Man, the new guy, Tom Holland, because it's the third incarnation of Spider-Man. And they show off what he was doing, like a thing he was with Jon Favreau, who's supposed to be like his, supposed to watch after him when he's with Tony Stark. He's supposed to watch after him, And they show a little footage of him filming stuff, like he's doing a video vlog for YouTube and stuff, and they showed him with the stuff from Captain America when they show Ant-Man getting real giant, showing him taking Captain America's shield and stuff like that, and showing him in modern day talking to Tony Stark and stuff like that. And he says, "Well," and it, whenever. Don't call us, we'll call you type of deal. And he's done little stuff in the neighborhood, like saving cats and helping ladies across the street and some like little petty crime and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. And it talks about his time in school and his friend. A lot of that goes on. It's really good. He reminds me a lot of Michael J. Fox. And I remember they were asking... I saw something when I was looking through it, and they said, is Spider-Man Homecoming kid-friendly? Yes and no. I mean, they took some really young... When I was at the theater, they took some really young kids. Whenever they started having, it's always going to end up in a major fight towards the end. And towards the last half hour or so, I saw a mother taking her 3-year-old kids out of the... Well, I assume they were... I want young kids out of the theater. I mean, because it was getting pretty heavy. I mean, remember, it's a PG-13 rated movie because there's always going to be maybe some material that a parent might find objectionable. And usually it's a violence. The swearing wasn't too bad. They said BS a few times. And, I mean, use your own discretion. Usually, Saturday mornings they'd have something like TVY7, where, some material might not be appropriate for anyone under the age of 7. I mean... A lot of the violence was stylized with CGI, but I mean, it would get kind of heavy whenever the main stuff happened. And it's not a spoiler because there's always going to be a main fight at the end of the movie. That's the way it always is with the villain. Well, usually, anyways. So I mean, use your own as a parent, use your own discretion and stuff like that. But it's a fantastic film. I really liked it. And there's some things where there's lots of humor in the movie. Hannibal Buress plays the teacher in there, and there's scenes where, in the gym, they'd play Captain America, and they said this is the Captain America fitness challenge. You know how they had the Presidential Fitness Challenge in gym? They had him speaking. They had him speaking about different stuff. Say, so you're in detention, kids. I mean, inspirational stuff. It's pretty cool. I really liked it. It talks about his relationship with the girl, him being in the debate team. And then, his encounters with... Let's see what this is now. Better not be nothing bad. Yeah. Like I said, these are live. I talking to Amber a little bit. I really, really enjoyed the film. It's a blast from the beginning, and they had like the Ramones. They played Blitzkrieg Bop like twice, and it's really fantastic. I mean, during the trailer, you might think that Tony Stark's in it. He's in it somewhat. He's in it enough, but you see Captain America in there and parts and stuff like that, and they have. Whoop. Oh, she is so nice. When you feel bad too. And make sure they have a great. The ending is fan. I mean, I'm not giving anything away. The ending is really good, and then they have a great thing, and then they have a scene toward. I mean, because they stay tuned for the scenes at the end of the credits. They have a scene that's really good in the movie. And then stay tuned to the very, 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 very end. There's another scene there that I haven't applauded in a movie in a while. I would like this. People don't applaud anymore because I remember going to movie theater where like people would applaud the end of movies. Like remember they applaud the end of Dragonheart, the Dollar Theater. I think I saw the Dollar Theater. They applaud the end of Independence Day. They applaud the end of Saving Private Ryan. But I applaud the end of that the very, very last, at the very, very end of the credits, the last scene was so funny and so good. It was really fantastic. The whole movie was lots of humor in it. I mean, the violence did get real, but I mean, not like horrific, but I mean, a little on the disturbing side for little kids and stuff like that. It's really a fantastic movie. I can't say enough good things about it. I think Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. And then I saw it was directed by John Watts, and I said, that's not Mr. Dirty directing the movie, is it? Because that's his real name on there, but we don't talk anymore. That ain't him. And then they had Julu, I believe, let me see, on, you walk. Amber's the nicest person. Let me look at something. I think he played a carjacker. We're supposed to be friends on Facebook. At least we were. Let me see. Yeah. He might have been in that Spider-Man thing, I think. Friend, I mean, maybe a small. I don't remember the thing with the carjacking, though. It's really. I assume that was him. Yeah, I know. I did too. And yeah, someone said, I just saw you in Spider-Man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to comment on his thing and I'm going to put my review on there. Awesome. I hope he sees my review. Well, anyways, I'm getting off track. Because, I mean, this one is really, I mean, I had an amazing day yesterday. But, I mean, I think that Spider-Man Homecoming is right up there with the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. I mean, even right alongside, even surpassing that somewhat. I mean, it's a brilliant film. They took their time with character development because, I mean, the movie's like, I thought it was 2 hours and 13 minutes, or I know one of them was like 2 hours and 31, but that's fine. It takes its time for character development. Like I said, they were asking, is it kid-friendly? Parents use your own discretion. It's a PG-13 rated movie. I mean, your kids are too young that they might be bothered by some scenes of violence. Don't take them to see it. Wait till they get a little bit older and stuff like that. I mean, but there's lots of great stuff. It's a PG-13 rated movie, so you use your own discretion. But the film is a full-on 10 out of 10. It's brilliant. And I like they had like at the very end, I mean, when they started, they had like an animated thing. It was done in a lighthearted way with lots of humor during the animation. It was really a great film. I really enjoyed it. And yes, he was inspired. That's pretty awesome. I knew it was. I saw the credits. I was like, holy crap. And so, I mean, full on 10, I can't say enough good things about it. And he was really good in Homecoming too, and you see like the start of that with Tony Stark and Aunt May. Because Aunt May, they try to make her more of a hottie. In this one, she's played by Mr. Tomei, who was really made famous from My Cousin Vinny. And the original Aunt May was more like the traditional, in the traditional comics back in the with the Sam Raimi ones, with the amazing. And then they made with the Andrew Garfield ones, or Andrew. I told my friend Andrew Heathcliff Garfield. That was a little joke. They had Sally Field, and then they said that they made Sally Field look older than she really was. Now, I think Sally Field's attractive too. But I mean, Marissa Tomei, I mean, pretty cool. I think Tony Stark has a thing for his Aunt May. It's pretty sweet. Well, anyways, let me talk about my history with 10 out of 10. I can't recommend Spider-Man Homecoming enough. It's a great film. It takes its time developing character development and his life in school also, and it's perfect. And like I said, it's an origin story, kind of. It's a reboot, but it's not like going through the same motions that you've seen before. Because I remember I got some free subscriptions to comic books a long time ago. Yeah, I got the Spider-Man one, and they said that, well, we're going to stop this series and then do like our origins thing again. I was like, or you have a choice to choose from something else. I chose something else. Origin stories have been done to death with Spider-Man. But they do the origin story, but in such a different, unique way. It's completely different than what you'd expect. And it's quite brilliant. So, like I said, 10 out of 10. I can't recommend it enough. Now, my history of Spider-Man, all the way back to when I was a little kid, I remember seeing I knew him from comic books, but I mean, I remember they had a live-action Spider-Man TV show back then, which a lot of people make fun of, but I thought it was really cool as a kid. And then all his webs were like ropes and stuff. It was really weird. I haven't seen it since then, so I don't know how it stands up now. I remember, and CBS was the one that did all the superhero shows. They did Incredible Hulk, which I was really excited to see. My dad was too. And as far as I'm sure, Lou Ferrigno will always be the Incredible Hulk because he was the live-action version. Everyone else was the CGI. And along with that was they had Spider-Man on Electric Company and on PBS, and Morgan Freeman. Before Morgan Freeman was a famous actor, he was Easy Reader on and they had like little Spider-Man cartoons on segments on there. They were much more toned down than like the movies and stuff like that. But I mean, Spider-Man was on it. As they said, a lot of kids, some kids just watched. I love the Electric Company. I haven't seen it in ages. They said a lot of kids just watched it just for Spider-Man. But I mean, I watched the whole thing. I mean, they were very toned down episode. And I don't think he ever talked. He said something, and then you see like the caption or the thought bubble or something like that. But I don't think he ever talked in those. And then it came to Saturday morning cartoons. I remember they used to have the Spider-Man and then Superman and Friends, like the old ones with Stan Lee introducing it. And they had like him, Fire Girl, Silver Surfer. No, Iceman, Iceman on there. And they had like Spider-Man had his own thing, and like he did like the Incredible Hulk, and always Stan Lee would always introduce them. That's how you really got familiar with Stan Lee's incredible voice and stuff like that. He was great in the cartoons too. And also they had when I started watching, we started getting Canadian TV on Saturday mornings at like 9 o'clock. I think they showed the old Ralph Bakshi Spider-Man movies in 1968. And it was weird because I had this one friend in Fort Bragg named Allman. And he said, he was talking about how great Ralph Bakshi's good. He doesn't do crap like that early Spider-Man thing. I said, yes, he did. No, he did. Yes, he did. And I had a bunch of Spider-Man. Prism used to release the Spider-Man ones on VHS. I bought a handful of them. I showed him right at the end. It said Ralph Bakshi Animation Company or something like that. So I guess I was wrong. But he was the one that we argued about. Whenever Roseanne had their TV show, we used to argue about Roseanne and Meryl Streep. Not that, but I mean, what the hell was I going to say? Allman said, you want to see Roseanne Barr doing a movie with Meryl Streep? I said, yes, she did. She did She-Devil, which a movie I hated, by the way. And then he didn't believe me, but I showed him the proof. And so, God damn, I guess I was wrong. I saw that at home in Germany when I got home from Germany, and he was always like, I don't know. The only thing I liked is when she just, she destroyed how she put like the what's that, the spray ball in the microwave and stuff. I like that and stuff like that. But She Devil was a horrible movie. I didn't like it at all. But I mean, he was in that. And it was cool. I like at the beginning they have like this Marvel opening for like the Sony films, and they were playing their own version of the classic Spider-Man theme from the old '60s Spider-Man show. And actually, they even did that in the Sam Raimi ones. I know this one girl was singing in an elevator in Spider-Man 2. I think they played that a little bit in the ending credits of the original Spider-Man, in Spider-Man 2, I think. I really liked that one too. It was pretty entertaining. Let's see what else happened with Spider-Man. Not too much until like Sam Raimi did did Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, who I thought was awesome. Some people, I think like Tony Town and Travis, they said they hated Tobey Maguire in the Spider-Man movies. I think Sam Raimi did a great job in the first one. Some people liked, some people didn't. And then with Spider-Man 2, and they had like a Spider-Man comic book tied in with the first Spider-Man movie that they were giving away for free at Walmart. I remember getting a copy of that. I don't know whatever happened to it. Probably got all tore up or something. I don't know if my nephew tore it up. I don't know. I don't want to blame anyone. And then Spider-Man 2 came out. I remember Roger Ebert, when it was Ebert and Roper, he said flat out, Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie I've ever seen, at least to that point. And it was a fantastic film. A great, great movie. And people raved over it. I can't say enough good things about that one. Well, that first Spider-Man was 10 out, and then this one was 10 out of 10. And then Spider-Man 3 came out, and everyone said it was a fall from grace, kind of. They said there was too many villains in it, but I didn't mind it. I liked it for the most part. There was a couple embarrassing scenes, like when Spider-Man was trying to be a bad guy. He was walking down, going like this, like that. I know Sam Raimi's type of humor. I know what he was going for, but it just didn't quite work. And there was a scene with him and Bruce Campbell. It was a little bit... it was okay, but it just didn't fit in. It just didn't seem right and stuff like that in the movie. But that was still a good movie. I get an 8 out of 10. Then, like I said, that was it. I think it was 2008 that came out. Then 2012, they're revamping Spider-Man. I said, oh no, not another origin story. And Andrew Garfield, was in the movie. As far as he goes, I was never really, never thought he was that memorable. I thought he was all right as Spider-Man. Some people liked him better than Tobey Maguire, like I was saying, but I never saw the one story that I always tell everybody, revolving original Spider-Man, was I was at the Dollar Theater. Apparently, it was like 2 weeks before it closed, just like with the Village Cinema. I remember this back in '97. My dad and I went there and we saw that Tomorrow Never Dies. I believe that's what it was. James Bond movie. It seemed like it was a week or 2 weeks before the Village Cinema in Edinburgh closed down for good, which was really sad. And same thing happened with the Dollar Tree. I went there. I was on vacation. And usually I used to do stuff with Taylor and AJ and stuff like that, but they kind of, grew out of going to the Dollar Theater. I used to like plan a whole day around it, and we do stuff, go to McDonald's and stuff. And the last time I took them, I think we saw Rango, both Taylor and AJ, and that was it. And then I went down there because I think Rango was the last one I saw before I went down there. I wanted to spend a whole day watching movies there. And the plan was, first of all, Ted, which was fantastic. That was 10 out of 10. Then Avengers, which was really good, a 10 out of 10 on that. And then I wanted to see The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, and I couldn't because they had a Fathom special events playing instead of Spider-Man. They had that Glenn Beck playing. I didn't want to see him. And John said, what, you didn't want to see Glenn Beck? I said, hell no. And my only other choices were Hit and Run, which I ended up seeing on Netflix with my dad, which was awful. And the lousy remake of Total Recall. I just should have bothered going to the theater at all. I ended up seeing Total Recall, which was awful. Neat special effects, but it didn't add up to anything. just like Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West is a terrible. I saw it on HBO. Love the special effects, but there was nothing to really carry it. So I ended up not seeing that. I want to see it someday. I haven't seen it yet. And then John said, John said, yeah, those never really did it for him. And then real close up to a week or so before my dad passed away, I remember seeing Spider-Man 2, which I like Spider-Man 2. It's not as good as the other ones. I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Electro and Jamie Foxx in it. And I thought that was pretty decent for what it was. I give that a 7 out of 10. A lot of people thought it was a lot less than that, but I thought it was alright. And then, that was kind of it. And then they decided to reboot it again with Spider-Man Homecoming. I think Tom Holland's doing a great job. It's like a Michael Fox type thing. Oh, and whenever the first Spider-Man came out, I know MTV had like a computer animated Spider-Man thing that they showed. And I watched that. I don't think I've seen the whole thing. That was really good. I like what they did with that. That was on par with the original. I mean, that was a very good. I don't know how long it lasted though, but it was really good. Probably too expensive to make. So there you have it. For my review of Spider-Man Homecoming, my history of Spider-Man. Like I said, full on 10 out of 10. Fantastic film. As far as kid-friendly, use your own discretion, If you think it might be too violent for your kids, just use your own discretion. I mean, if they're really young, maybe just wait. And maybe let them watch the cartoon some or something. I don't know. But I love the film. So 10 out of 10 for Spider-Man Homecoming. So until next time, everybody, please take care of my Legion. Oh, and thank you. I know this is a long video. Thank you to Tim Sands for making me the awesome thumbnail. Thank you, buddy. All right. Take care, everybody.